Hi, I'm Alex, and I do arty things. For today's video, I have these rainbow scratch art sheets. If you haven't seen these before, I'm a little surprised, but no judgment. Basically, it's a thick cardstock colored rainbow with a black wax coating on the top. You scratch away and it reveals whatever's underneath in the shape that you draw. Since I haven't used these since 2020, I want to play around with them, see what I can do, and establish an art process. So it comes with 6 of these pencil tools. They're just sticks of wood with a certain sharpness. And it comes with 50 of these black sheets. I want to play around with these and see what I can do. So let's get straight into it. So here they are. Big one-sided toothpicks. I'm just gonna grab one sheet for now. Here we go. This is going to be a messy project. Definitely comes off on your fingers, that's for sure. And the rest of the table, for that matter. It might be useful to have some sort of like a wet rag down here. So what I'm seeing is that the color is in these random blob shapes. I don't think there's any like particular rhyme or reason to it. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to predict what color will be where. Let's see, I wonder if we can use this side. Ooh, that gives us a nice larger line. Definitely a little bit harder to control. All right. A couple of experiments. I wanted to see if the colors were randomized, and they are. They're kind of these blobby shapes. I'm curious to see if this is on this print is on every single one of these, or if it varies. However, I don't think that's going to be an issue because everything that I draw will be different depending on what I get done today. Second off, I've grabbed a wet towel because holy cow. I can see it better than you can for the looks on the camera, but it is messy. This whole thing is very, very messy. Nonetheless, this is just kind of a plasticky photo card material. And lines are pretty easy. It kind of has like a natural stabilizer to it just because of how much resistance is on the page. The more of this black waxy stuff that builds up on the tip of your pencil thing, the harder it is to get a straight line. So you have to clean it off every once in a while. To start drawing, I pulled out one of the black sheets and got to thinking. I figured that, as long as I was careful to not press too hard and scratch the wax, I could use a white pencil to sketch. I grabbed a nearby white Prismacolor pencil to test this, and my theory was correct. I could sketch on the sheet without messing up the wax coating. Even with the newfound freedom to sketch, my mind was in a bit of a stasis mode. I wasn't drawing a blank. I had quite an overabundance of ideas for this project. There were 2 things mainly holding me back. 1, I just wanted to play around and have fun rather than completing one big project. 2, I didn't feel warmed up enough to the materials yet. So I did the one thing I know how to do best with art. Just start somewhere. I felt like drawing a chibi would be simple and doodly enough. Once I had the chibi base sketched, I looked around for some character inspiration. I used an app that I've had on my phone for quite a while called Pastel Girl. It's a dress-up doll app, and this is the little doll that I chose to recreate. It worked out wonderfully. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record. Moving on to the fun part, the scratchy part. I found that instead of moving quickly and scratching shorter lines, keeping the wood pen steady and moving slowly gave a better result. For the character, this girl has cute pigtails and headphones. The hair itself gave me some trouble. The curves threw my hand off a bit due to the resistance of scratching the wax. For her outfit, she has pants with heart on them and shoes with bows. In the Pastel Girl image, she has the word happy with hearts on either side. She, doesn't look very happy, but maybe she is on the inside. Maybe she's hearing her favorite song. Oh well, it adds a much needed cuteness pop. The rest of the background needed something too, so I threw in some bubbles and stars and a heart or two for something a little extra. I skipped the dog since I didn't feel like cramming them on either side of her. Moving on to the second drawing, I thought of using my white erasable colored pencils so I could erase the sketch lines. As expected, the eraser only wears down the black wax and leaves a whitish streak. However, this meant I traded using an expensive pencil to using a cheaper pencil, and I consider that a major win. For this drawing, I wanted to take the next step up and go from a chibi to a portrait. Once I landed on a portrait, I felt in the mood to draw Kiara from the game Genshin Impact. If you don't know, here's a quick summary. She's a cat yokai who is also a mail courier who works in Inazuma. She's a spunky, happy character whose voice actor and design match in a way that brings me a smile, even if overall she's a very minor character. During the sketching, I had some trouble with the body proportions. On top of that, Genshin characters have a ridiculous amount of detail. Some details I didn't simplify right, and some had to be sacrificed. Nonetheless, the sketch was done, and I moved on to the scratching portion. My troubles did not stop there. Once again, I started with the eyes, and oh boy. I preferred the sketch during 85% of this. I wasn't sure how to convey some of the details and messed up some of the lines, mainly on the face. I overcorrected in some areas and left others that I should have fixed a little. Despite this, I do like her cat ears and how her bows turned out. I added the patterns onto the cloth that covers her ears. Wait, does she not have cat ears? She doesn't? Okay, well, the cat ear imitations. Now, in-game, she has cat paws for feet and twin tails. Because of this, I couldn't resist and added some paw pads on her hand. I do like them, but I wish I had moved the toe pads up to the top of her fingers. They don't make sense where they're at. To finish, I drew a couple of hearts and a cat paw in the background. Though I still prefer the sketch, I think the finished scratched art turned out well enough. I took a quick minute after drawing to clean all the little black waxy particles on my white desk. For the next drawing, I wanted to move away from what I did in the last two. I turned the paper and switched to landscape instead of portrait. It was then that I had the irresistible urge to draw big, round sunglasses. The pattern on the cardstock made me think funky, and sunglasses feel funky to me. Drawing humans felt boring in the moment, so it was a process of elimination to choose an animal. Because I recently learned how to draw red pandas, I reasoned it was time to take my new skills for a spin. I sketched out the two squished ovals for their heads and placed the ears, nose, eyes, and mouths. I also made sure to get the white patterns on their fur just right, since those tank or sell the red panda design in my opinion. I wanted them to be not just red pandas, but funky red pandas. I gave one of them the circle glasses that inspired this whole idea, and also gave this one a collar with a star. The other red panda has a playful winking expression and a very adorable bow. The sketch turned out better than I wanted it to be, but for the piece to come together, I had to scratch in the color. Beginning with the panda on the right, I kept my movements very slow to work with the resistance of the wax. Occasionally, I would forget to remove the built-up wax on the tip of the wooden toothpick, and it would cause some issues like making the line fray a bit. With the line work done and looking nice, I filled in some areas with color by scratching out large portions of the black wax. With the line work done and looking nice, I filled in some areas with color by scratching out large portions of the black coating. The bits I really wanted to highlight were the glasses, eyes, bow, and the inner ears. I debated this next part over and over for a few minutes, and once I felt confident enough, I started to scratch out the background. I considered this a huge risk that would either make or break the piece for me. If I scratched it out, it may take away too much attention from the pandas. Or if I scratched it completely out, it may make the pandas stand out more, which was the intention. I used the backside of the stick and worked away at it in large chunks. The gamble worked, so I blew on the drawing, choking on the dust, and satisfied with the result. At this point, I had finished 3 drawings and needed to record an intro before wrapping up and heading home. Even on a time crunch, I felt like I had one more drawing in me for the day. Out of all of these, this one took the shortest amount of time at a quick 20 minutes. I didn't even spend much time thinking about this one. I wanted to draw a vampire girl, and a vampire girl would it be. I had her holding up her cape in an almost welcoming position. I gave her pointy ears for funsies, floofy hair, a cute skirt, and a long batwing cape. She's deep in a cave with stalagmites and stalactites behind her. I scratched out her eyes entirely and cringed when one of her eyes turned out completely green and the other entirely purple. Not what I had in mind, but I decided to roll with it and see what the rest of the hidden colors had in store for me. I outlined her hair, cape, her outfit, and the background. I scratched out some bats and declared it finished. There are 1 or 2 more details I wish I would have thought to add, but overall for a 20-minute drawing, I'm very pleased with it.